It's Casual Gamer Oz F1 2017 Career Mode Season 8, Round 15, Malaysia at Sepang Circuit. Let's get into a wet qualifying. Best qualifying here. We did get pole here last season, but binned it, of course. 18th place, we ended up finishing there. Never won here. It's our one of only 2 Grand Prix we've never won. Malaysia and Abu Dhabi, the only 2 races we have never won now in F1 2017. We lead this Drivers' Championship by 59 points. And we 2 and a bit wins clear, so looking quite pretty there. Now we got a little flick in terms of our bonus, sort of the you get your R&D points, which is great, but then you kind of have that little mode where you get like bonuses for completing invitationals and doing a certain amount of races in first driver. And obviously that resets itself once you change teams, because we got sort of the little bonus for being 1 race in first driver mode, so we get I think like a 5% extra points or something along those lines for being first driver. But according to this little map thing that they showed us, the reason why our upgrades take so long, 6 weeks, 6 rounds, as you obviously saw while we're still waiting for this one to come into Japan, it's because that resets itself. And in order to improve that, we actually have to do invitational events again to improve them. But I don't think we're going to bring them back. We might next season. I'm not too sure. I mean, it doesn't really bother me too much in terms of the amount of time it takes. Because, you know, in the grand scheme of things, our car's the best, and in the grand scheme of things, we're going to be earning the same amount of R&D points in the meantime, and we can just alternate between chassis and aerodynamics next season. So, yeah, it's not phasing me too much whether or not we get them sped up or not. Obviously, invitational modes just take up a bit of extra time, and we've obviously done them all, so we don't really need to do them too much. Anyway, I haven't talked anything about this lap. They need to be in the top 3, and somehow in a wet Malaysia, which I wasn't too confident about, we're going to end up in 2nd on the grid.
Excellent lap. We're really pleased.
We actually haven't had a pole since Britain, funnily enough. But yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that. Would have much rather been on pole, but anyway, that's life. Let's get into the race day. Out qualified by our teammate. Obviously, we can get demoted from first driver, but there's really no incentive now for our career score. It's beating rivals. What do you do? We're not going to change teams. We don't want to. So it's just a matter of maintaining our first driver status, really. It's weird thinking how much effort we needed to put into being consistent early on to get the fuck out of Toro Rosso. Now we just don't really give a shit about it. So, of course, we won the last 8 Grand Prix in a row, 11 for the season, which is equal, of course, for the 2nd most wins in a season in history of Formula 1, if you're a Formula 1 follower. Dry race. We need to get to 13 wins or more in a season to break that record. It means we get to 12 here, but again, more importantly for me, this will be the very first time we have ever won the Malaysian Grand Prix. So, let's hope for the best. I finished 2nd here before, but never won it. When we finished 2nd, we actually got 2nd to Kimi Raikkonen, who of course we've taken his seat here at Ferrari. So hopefully we can prevent the disaster that happened last year here. I think we got damaged front wing, we got penalty and everything else in between. So 18th is where we finished. It's just me smacking my foot, if you're wondering what the hell I'm doing. It's so slow. Just for you, Jeffrey. I won't. Let's do this. Obviously, we're on the outside here, not the inside. It's generally what happens when you're not on the inside. And we're underway. Now we're going to move here just to the left to avoid anybody coming across there, push us on the grass. But we're just going to maintain this here because the beauty about Malaysia is that if you don't get the inside there, you'll get the inside coming up to here, which pushes you back into 2nd. That's good. No damage to the front wing, which is even better. And we're going to put this into rich mode for the opening lap to catch our teammate here and hope for our very first Malaysian Grand Prix victory. Otherwise, we could be staring at another 2nd place, which is not what we want. You don't race for 2nd place when you're driving a Ferrari. Now, we could possibly dive one up here, but this is a tricky corner, and I think we will play it safe. As you can see, you slide out of that one very easily. grip level's so much better in this Ferrari than the Toro Rosso around here. Easily take that flat, whereas the Toro Rosso, it was a little bit of a gamble. Now, just be careful. I remember getting taken up by Lance Stroll there one time in a lazy overtake manoeuvre. Alright. We've got a nice slipstream here of Seb. We're going to take the lead, I feel we will. Look at his closing speed there on him. Thank you, Sebastian. We'll take that lead off you if you don't mind. And boom shakalaka, we lead the Malaysian Grand Prix for the very first time in our career. Alright. Couldn't imagine if this was a real F1 season that people would be that excited about it, considering that this would be our 9th win in a row. But I mean, having said that, the Italian Grand Prix was pretty exciting. We did win it from last on the grid. They wouldn't be able to take away from that in real life. Nothing that's ever happened before. Now we've taken it out of rich mode just because we don't really need to. We're pulling away quite significantly from Mr. Vettel. Ricciardo's up into 3rd, by the way. Which is interesting considering they have the best overall car in F1, why they're not challenging more. It's one thing I have noticed about this game, which unlike F1 2016 at least, development you could see would work with cars. That's why you'd have a McLaren randomly challenging for the championship about 2 or 3 seasons into your career mode. Whereas this time around, the development's been jack shit. They're still going to have the Ferraris and Mercedes battling at the front. I mean, we saw every now and then a Williams or a Force India would get up there with their engine upgrade speed, but yeah, I mean, we know Toro Rosso have the most powerful engine, but they're never up there. We saw, I think, Kvyat and Sainz have scored like a point apiece last season, I think, and obviously Red Bull, as I said, the fastest car in the field, and where are they? Not the fastest car, but the best overall package, so they should be challenging for wins. That's the one downside to what they've done in this career mode, but anyway, we shan't complain. We're the ones leading at the moment. So we cross the line now to DRS zone. Jeffrey. Mainly holding that up actually to the microphone for you to be like, DRS is now enabled. DRS now enabled. It's like, again, thank you, Captain Obvious. We've already mentioned that, but cool. He didn't say it. You took the words right out of my mouth. It must have been when I was kissing Jeff. Which, let's be honest, everybody in the paddock has. Jeff is a bit of a floozy. That's when I hear the rumours. Whoa. Get myself swung deal to that. That was a bot unfortunate. As we go a little bot Kiwi. I'm a little bit Kiwi. I'm a little bit rock and roll. I really don't know what's wrong with me sometimes, people. Whoa. Big slide coming out of that corner there, as often is the case. Zoom. Awesome. Sweep through here. It's kind of surprising it's taken me so long to potentially win this track, or in this race. I like this circuit. Time recording this to date this episode. It's the next Grand Prix on the calendar, and it'll be the last ever time we see the Malaysian Grand Prix in real life, of course. So we find ourselves now into the main straight. Oh, goodness! Oh, shit, that scared the fuck out of me. I was not paying attention there. I was looking at my engine map, assuming that I was on the straight and narrow. And, oh, Jesus. Was that Japan, I remember? Was that my first season on F1 2016? I just got myself way too close to the wall. Lack of attention. That's how quick you can turn there, and I was very lucky not to damage any part of my car there. Scrape the wall. And a little bit of poos in the undies after that. Striving for 9 in a row. 12th of the season. And it will put us... so Vettel's 59 behind us. Will put us 66 points. 66 points clear in the World Championship. 5 rounds remaining to be 2.5 wins up, essentially. And 5 rounds remaining is almost unassailable. Because last year, we were the ones chasing down 2 wins, essentially, weren't we? So we know Japan's next, which we know we've never won legitimately. Of course, when I say legitimately, I mean without adjusting the difficulty. But we're on a bit of a hot streak here, and if we can get a good qualifying position, if it's a dry one, then who knows where we can end up there in Suzuka. A little bit more confidence than usual in Suzuka. It's just those opening corners that are tricky dicky with your front wing and avoiding damage. Alright, here we go. Last lap. Let's go Roch mode. And let's bring this home for our first Malaysian Grand Prix ever. Of course, we said going into this Asian leg that we often find ourselves struggling sometimes in these 3-1s. Never winning in Singapore, never winning in Malaysia. Well, we'll tick 2 of these off, and it will mean that only Abu Dhabi is the only one left that we've never won at. And I think we can do that. Hopefully, we would have had the championship well and truly wrapped up by then, so we'll just push our little assholes off to get that victory, so we can officially say we've won every single Grand Prix at least once here. Casual Gamer Oz on F1 2017 and 2016 combined. Which I think mainly also on F1 2017 we would have won them all. What did we win on F1 2016? We won in Italy and Brazil, and both races we've won here. So, yeah, it will be also F1 2017. Alrighty. It's our last little hurdle there, going through that corner there and not spinning. And 9 wins in a row. Again, taking Monaco out of the equation. Spain and China, the real blips this season. This would be our record-breaking race win if we had have done what we should have done. 2 races we won last year. But anyway, as always, if ifs and buts, we're counting nuts. We're all having Merry Christmas. And our first Malaysian Grand Prix win will feel good. I feel good. We're going to come around the final hairpin to win in Sepang for the very first time. And like a virgin, we touched ourselves for the very first time.
Worked hard for that one. Congratulations.
That didn't make an ounce of sense, but I don't give a shit. Alrighty, ho-ski. There we go, ski. Mother truck skis. 5 rounds remaining. And we have won the last 9 Grand Prix. Pump those fists, Maurizio. Pump those fists, Benjamin. I've got my teammate and my fellow Aussie. So we are in a good spot there on the podium. Let's have a look at the standings. Look at that. Sox points clear. 5 rounds remaining. And after Bottas was looking good there challenging, he's actually moved back up into 3rd. Who's driver of the day, Ant? Lance Stroll. Cool. He's actually got 29 points this season. He's done alright. Massa still there in 6th. Ricardo has jumped ahead of him in constructors. We should be kicking some ass, shouldn't we? We are. So, there you go. What have we scored? 310. So we've already outscored ourselves from last season, folks. There you go. 5 rounds remaining. We've gotten more than we got last year. So there's a random fact for you. Alright, let's go through the motions here right now. And just see where we're at. We're at. And, yeah, so Abu Dhabi, the only Grand Prix we have never won in Casual Gamer Oz. We finished 2nd there. Probably could have won there last year if we weren't being such a dick trying to take everyone out. But, yep. We're getting close to that 1,600 point threshold that we need to get for our final upgrade on our engine. We can, 8 points for being the first driver. Calm down there. And, her reputation, well, we don't give a shit. Cool. Alright, Casual Gamer Oz, we'll be back in Japan. Like, subscribe, and comment. We'll speak to you next time. Good night.